Elephant green screen effect.
You may have noticed that I haven't posted a lot of videos this year, and it's for a good reason. I've been hard at work developing and managing my own indie horror game, Indigo Park. Between scaling up the project a lot, managing the entire Kickstarter and its rewards, developing the game itself, and maintaining business relationships, I've been a little bit busy. However, thanks to Indigo Park, I've had the opportunity to go on a couple of trips to advertise the game, interact with you guys, and network with some people that make the project come together. With the year coming to an end, I wanted to bring you guys along on some of these business trips and give you guys some updates on Indigo Park Chapter 2. So take this as sort of a travel vlog / life update as we go through Indigo Park's 2025. I figured we'd just kind of shove all these little adventures into one video, since a lot of the times it was like one day here or like a weird weekend here that I went to, and it didn't feel like we needed to do an entire video for every little thing that I did. To me, this video is serving as kind of a celebration of what Indigo Park has become and getting excited for the future of it, because it's going to be really exciting. If we're talking about people who have made the project come together, it would be a crime if I didn't mention Culturefly, who manages not only our merch site, but also has been handling the physical distribution of all of the goods that people have gotten through the Kickstarter. I'll talk about them a bit more later, but I wanted to mention that they just dropped a new line of merch. I've been getting asked over and over again where people can buy a Rambley plush, and there is a handful of them that are knockoffs, even like on Amazon Prime, which is crazy to me. And since the previous two plushes that we did were like super limited edition, limited run, pre-order only type stuff, I haven't really had the opportunity to be like, hey, here's where you can go and buy a Rambley plush. Now we have a brand new Rambley plush on indigopark.shop, and he's a pretty cool little guy. Our goal was to design a plush that wasn't exactly like the other ones that we've done before. You'll notice stuff like the mouth is closed, he has a little hat and stuff like that. And more importantly, create an evergreen product. This essentially means that as long as Culturefly doesn't hate me and you guys continue to support the project, this guy will be available. This isn't like a, oh, you only have a month to get it kind of thing. Ideally, this guy will be on the shop until we're done making Indigo Park. I like him a lot. I think this is probably the most accurate we've gotten to doing like a Rambley plush that looks like Rambley. Plus he has a little conductor's cap that's magnetic, so if you just want the regular plush, awesome. If not, he's got little magnets in there that let him put on a hat, so pretty cool little guy. I've made it very clear what my stance on merch is, especially since we only have chapter 1 out, but this is something that you guys have been asking for over and over again, and I'm not kidding you, I'll get several DMs a month of parents being like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for the Rambley plush, my son loves it, or hey, I'm so glad that I can support the project by buying this plush. And it's like the most knockoff crap version of the makeshift one I've ever seen. So when Culturefly was like, hey, can we put a plush out after everything they've done for me and the opportunity to make something pretty cool, of course I'm gonna say yes. So I'm really excited about this. But yeah, go check it out with the link in the description. I'm not the kind to like sit here and shill merch, but I wanted you guys to know about this because this is pretty cool. Also, as a prize for clicking on this video, I wanted to start out with a quick little update about Indigo Park Chapter 2. I can confirm that by the end of next month, we're gonna have another little trailer out for the chapter. I'm excited to show you guys a little bit more of what we've been working on. A lot of it has been back-end stuff. That's admittedly what the beginning of it's been. There seems to be a rumor going around that we're 100% dropping Chapter 2 in December. I just wanted to set it clear, there's not a confirmed release date for Chapter 2 yet. It's partially my fault why people are thinking this. When asked earlier this year when it's coming out, I said that like, oh, our goal is by end of the year, or it would be nice if we could get it out by end of the year. We also had the target delivery date for a lot of the Kickstarter rewards set to December of this year. So I think a lot of people took that as the game's for sure coming out then. When I have a release date, we will drop a release date trailer and you guys will know. I promise you, the second I know a release date, you guys will know it. As for right now, I promise you I'm working super hard every single day on this. I know our entire team is working their butts off. We're creating really cool things and I'm really excited to keep pushing forward with it. But right now we do not have a release date. Cool? Awesome. Anyway, let's get into the fun part with MomoCon is what I consider Indigo Park's home con. I first found out about the event through Jake Neutron and his team, and now this is my third time attending the event, this time as a featured guest? Wow, so cool, he's so awesome. Originally, the plan was to show up and do a panel talking about the development of Chapter 1 and drop a teaser about Chapter 2, but then I found out that they were offering me booth space right next to Jake's booth, so I thought I might as well put something together. So through a lot of work and calls, we landed on doing an Indigo Park photo op. I designed a backdrop that looked like the walls in the game. I had some posters printed from the game, and best of all, had giant cutouts of Rambley and Lloyd. There we go. We made it to the booth. There's Vito. Hi. There's everyone else.
meals.
This all seemed to be going really well until we hit a few snags right before the convention. The company that was going to be making the cutouts like kind of dropped out on us, so I had to find someone different last minute, and we had issues getting it transported to the convention center. Anyway, it really came down to the wire, so much so that 20 minutes before the con opened, and you guys know how cons are, like right on opening day before, there's like shoulder to shoulder traffic, like everyone's trying to get in. Vito, who's Rambley's voice actor, and I were outside the convention center waiting for these things to get dropped off. And then we had to carry these giant cutouts through this traffic, down the escalators, through this entire convention filled with cosplayers and fans and just so many people, all the way down to the vendor hall. And of course, we're all the way on the other side of the vendor hall. When I say this was the most stressful thing I experienced all year, well, that would be a lie, but it was pretty high up there. So of course we finally get it down there. I'm drenched in sweat trying to unbox these cutouts. Jake and people working with him are coming up and saying hi. We're having our emotional moments. I think the craziest moment is when Amanda Hufford, who's the voice actor for Ragatha and the Amazing Digital Circus and worked on Date Everything and all these other amazing projects, comes up and they're like, so tell me, what is Indigo Park? And this is like our first time interacting. And I'm just like covered in sweat, like I'm throwing stuff around. Not my brightest moment. And although it came with a ton of stress and worry, it was so worth it to see you guys interact with this booth. Getting to meet so many of you guys and seeing your excitement for the game really made my year. And of course, I can't thank you enough for the support. Of course, like any other con that I've been going to, I brought the Rambley backpack with me, so you guys got photo ops in front of the cutouts. We had a ton of the voice actors there, Recti, Jake, Vito, Toasty was there for a bit. This was like the biggest gathering of the Indigo Park dev team all at once, and it was just unreal to have so many people there. There were a lot of awesome things I got to do at the con after setting up the booth as well. Jake Neutron had his Neutron Nexus concert that he does every year. Last year, he got Vito to end the concert by singing Rambley Review, which I admittedly teared up at because it's like, that's my boy.
All my old friends are united again, and I won't feel so left behind. Okay, buddy, I'll let you go. See you next time, okay?
And this year they did their like Remy take on Longest Solo Ever's Everlasting Fun. Again, not a canon project, but like that's still my friends on stage performing with my character on there, and like dude, it's so crazy. I also got to go to stuff like the Zamination panel, which the Zamination guys are awesome. They did a whole thing about 3D animation and video production. That was awesome. It's so cool to see those guys anytime I can. And while I had fun going to all of this, I had my own stressor in mind, my panels. The JT Music and Rocket Music teams had reached out before the con and asked if I wanted to be involved with a panel that was all about YouTubers becoming game devs. If you guys didn't know, they have their own games, Terrible Lizards and Don't Fret. And this was my opportunity to meet up in person with some people that I had workshop game dev stuff with and worked together on little projects. The panel went really well. We gave a lot of info about how to get started in game dev, our own experiences, kind of throwing ourselves into the deep end. And we got to show off some stuff about their games, again, Terrible Lizards and Don't Fret. And during it, I showed off a little bit of Indigo stuff, but I had mentioned that we have our own panel coming up called Welcome to Indigo Park the next day. Now, the idea that you could have your own panel to talk to people is really exciting until you realize you're a really anxious guy and you're really hard on yourself and everything has to be perfect. I was so incredibly worried about this panel. Why? Not only was it my first time talking to a crowd like this and knowing that they're there for my project, but we would also be revealing the first big part of Chapter 2, the Molly Ahoy teaser. After this panel, new characters for Chapter 2 would be public. People will have seen them and known their names and seen how they interact in universe. And this awesome animation that Inu did for us was gonna be out there. And all of this extra like ARG type found footage stuff that I did recorded on a camera from the early 2000s, just all of this work that had been building up for months would now just be out there. Admittedly, I was nervous. What if people don't like the teaser? What if no one shows up? What if I'm awkwardly talking to an empty room? What if we don't have enough content to show? You can ask anyone on our team. I was basically having an anxiety attack behind the stage. But when I finally came out and locked in, I found a room filled with Indigo Park fans. Cosplayers, people wearing our t-shirts, full-on fursuits of my characters. You guys showed up and you made it worth it. You made all of this stress and worry that I had about this worth it. This project, my baby, was being appreciated by an entire room of people, so much that they had people standing. And I got to share that moment with my team. I'm gonna cry, please don't make me cry. But yeah, we talked about how chapter 1 was made, showed off some of the chapter 2 work we were doing, and revealed the new teaser. The day after that panel, we even replaced the Lloyd cutout with one of the 3 new birds, Pip, Chip, and Tiki. Even though this was the most stressful weekend of my life, and looking back on it, it still causes my chest to like sink with anxiety. It was one of the most exciting and crazy experiences that I think I will ever have in my life. I can't thank you guys enough for giving me the opportunity, and for those of you who showed up, thank you. Although I'm nervous, I'm excited to be back at MomoCon this next year, so hey, we'll see what the future holds. And we'll just ignore the fact that I had to go through 3 months of trying to get the cutouts because someone was supposed to pick it up and take it to their warehouse, and then I don't know if they even did that, and there's no paper trail of anyone actually supposed to be doing that. Anyway, most of the stuff from that booth is lost media now because it never got shipped to me like I paid for it to be. Except for the bird cutout, which when we were packaging it in the box, it got a little damaged. So at some point, someone decided to cut off the heads of all the birds. And I said, hey, we should give these to the voice actors for each of the birds since they're here. So yeah, the voice actors got to take home the decapitated heads of each of their characters, which is oddly fitting for this franchise. Nerdcore PartyCon is a 2-day music festival where your favorite nerdcore artists come together to perform. If you're fans of artists like Jake Neutron, Longest Solo Ever, Chi-Chi, CG5, McGuire, The Stupendium, Oreo, The Living Tombstone, and so many more, this was the place to be. This year is in Dallas, Texas, and so many people I knew were going. In fact, JT Music even got Regular Sauce, who was a good buddy of mine and built the Molly head behind me, to perform in full Springtrap cosplay. I got an invite from the Rocket Music and JT Music teams just to go and hang out with some of the performers and see them. But last minute, they asked if I wanted to show the Chapter 2 teaser that had already been up on YouTube. I wasn't really sure what they wanted me to do, and I kind of wish we had a bit more time so I could have prepped like a custom Rambley animation or something for the event. But as it led up to that day, it turned into me getting on stage and talking about Indigo Park to a bunch of people who were just there to dance to Five Nights at Freddy's and Pokemon music.
My name is Mason or UniqueGeese. I'm the creator of Indigo Park. Indigo Park is an indie horror game where you break into an abandoned theme park and meet the park's AI assistant, Rambley the raccoon. Before I go any further, I gotta give a big thank you to the people that should be up here with me. Jake Neutron, Red D, all of my gang. Everybody working on this game is absolutely insane.
The entire 2-day period was insane, and I'll tell you what, I was in the front row that entire main day. Shout out to Amanda again, who stuck with me in the front row. We were jamming the entire time. But yeah, it was great because I not only got to advertise the game, but I also got to see some of you guys and interact with a bunch of people that I had only met online. Yeah, it was fun. This one I don't need to talk too much about, but I went to Halloween Horror Nights opening night in Hollywood. I went with John FNAF, The Regular Sauce, and Coda. We had a great time going through the Five Nights at Freddy's house, checking out what all was there. I've got a whole video on my YouTube channel just about this trip, so go check it out if you're interested in that. Culture Fly, our physical merch partner who I was talking about earlier, operates out of New York City. I had only been there once in my life, and that was whenever they flew me out to check out the office and talk the initial deals about doing Indigo Park stuff. But this year they wanted me to check out their booth at New York Comic-Con and even like have a little meet and greet. Of course I agreed to this because these are good buddies of mine and good partners of the brand, but there was one minor issue. A few months before being invited to New York Comic-Con, The Living Tombstone had reached out and asked if I wanted to go to one of their concerts as a guest. Right now they're on tour. I think they're wrapping up like right as this video is coming out. And I've been a big fan of TLT for a while, so of course I want to go if they're inviting me. And when I found out that Jake, my buddy Jake Neutron, was opening for them at Disney Springs in Orlando, of course I jumped on the opportunity to be there. Only problem is that now the concert was on Sunday and New York Comic-Con was that same weekend. So this turned into me flying to New York on Thursday, doing all of that stuff, having a great dinner with the Culture Fly people. The next morning, flying to Orlando, getting my stuff there, having a little bit of time to spend with Jake and the team and helping them get ready, and then watching the concert. So like, it just turned out to be a much bigger thing thing than it should have been. New York Comic-Con was awesome. Definitely one of the busier cons I've been to. It was awesome. I got to walk around and meet a handful of you guys. I was wearing the Rambley backpack, so a lot of people recognized the game. Culturefly had a sick booth where they were like showing off some of their brand partners with a Halloween theme. Universal Monsters in particular. There's some Scooby-Doo stuff. And we held a short little meet and greet where I got to advertise and show off some stuff about Chapter 2, including some screenshots that aren't public yet. So if you were there, awesome. It was genuinely an awesome time. I wish I could have stayed longer, but I had to get to Orlando for this other part. Once I got down to Orlando, I got to hang out with Jake and his squad a little bit at their B&B. Most of them hadn't been to Halloween Horror Nights yet, so we worked it out and I ended up going to Orlando HHN2. Here's a photo of Jake in a toad hat praising Freddy Fazbear. Totally normal behavior. But yeah, that was totally worth it because I got to see one of my best buddies open for the living tombstone at the House of Blues in Disney Springs. Like, absolutely insane experience. Couldn't have written it out better. And with that, I was done traveling for the year. The entire time that I was traveling, of course, I was working on Indigo, and we're talking about a year here, and these were just like some off weekends. But I was so ready to sit down and lock in on Indigo. It was so nice knowing that I had no other trips planned, so I could completely focus. An email from Universal inviting me to an exclusive Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie event in LA. Just a couple weeks ago, I got invited to a private Five Nights at Freddy's event made up just for the second movie. I got my invite literally 2 days before the event, and they were like, hey, you need to RSVP for this tonight. But I heard that John was going, and the regular sauce, and some more of my buddies. So I said fine, and I flew out to LA. But only for one day and one day only, okay? This was like, I got on, I showed up that night, I went to bed, I woke up, went to the stuff. Turns out this was like a super exclusive Hollywood event. I was like asking around for dress code because like if it was the premiere of the movie, like that's like full suit. Like you gotta be like dripped out for that. But this is like an influencer event, so like I didn't know. So I wore like what I normally would for like a panel or something. More than like a hoodie, but like, you know, not too crazy. Anyway, when we first got there, they took all of our phones and cameras and they were like really strict about that and locked them up and then took us into a theater. In there, I was just like hanging out with Daco and John and, you know, I'm just catching up some people. When like Matt Pat comes up and starts talking to us, and just like this whole little trip was like completely on a whim, and I had no information as to what I'm going into, and like now I'm here with Matt Pat. It just I don't know. Anyway, in the theater they were showing us the final movie trailer for FNAF 2. It's the trailer that like just came out a few days ago. You guys have probably already seen it, but we got to see it a couple of weeks early, which was pretty neat. And of course, being a big FNAF fan, being able to experience this and go to this was like a dream come true. After we saw the trailer, they took us bus by bus to a little like party area and a soundstage. But before I get on the bus, I turn around, it's fucking like Jake Neutron. I just saw you in Orlando. I had no clue they were gonna be there, but it was really weird because it felt like all these aspects of my online life were like coming together in one, because you had like Daco and John and like Matt Pat's here for some reason, and then I look over and it's like Jake's crowd, who I was also hanging out with at different events, and then you go in a little bit more and it's like the JT and Rocket guys who I was doing panels with and going to Nerdcore PartyCon, and Living Tombstones here who I was hanging out with before, and CG5's here. It's like all of the aspects of my online life came together for a Five Nights at Freddy's event. It's just, I have no words. I have no words. So at the event, they had all kinds of like food and drinks. It was really cool. They had a bunch of sets and things to take photos in front of. Lots of props from the movie. I took a photo at the security desk from the first movie, so that's pretty cool. I guess a lot of the actors were walking around. Our bus got in a little bit late, so I missed like Matthew Lillard, but I saw like Piper Rubio dancing around and stuff. It was a good time. It was really fun. I even got to see Toy Freddy and Toy Bonnie, like the ones from the movie, up close and personal. Overall, I had a really exciting year working on Indigo Park Chapter 2. A lot of this year has been learning how to manage a bigger team and how to handle stuff like the Kickstarter and take charge. Indigo Park isn't just like a little game I threw together alone. This is like a proper thing now with a lot of moving parts and people actively working on it. Of course, I have been like overly stressed. Like I'm just an anxious guy in general. So a lot of this has been like, you know, it's time to lock in. I just thought it was really important to make this video, to take some time to reflect on all the awesome people I've gotten to meet through working on this game and the cool things I've gotten to do because of it. So in my moments of being stressed about the funny raccoon game, I have to look back on the things I get to do because of you, because of the people watching this video, because of the people playing my game, because of the people who support me in what I do. And I just can't thank you enough. So thank you guys for watching. There will be a lot more info about Chapter 2 coming out. Like I said, new trailer next month. We got the Rambley plush coming out, and again, this isn't like a limited run thing, so if you want it, no rush. I've been working my butt off every single day to get this game out for you guys. You can ask any of my friends. I live on my computer. And I know I, along with our entire team, is so excited for you guys to see what we've been working on. End of the day, I just want to make something that our entire team is proud of and create a work environment where they get to have fun making something. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm going to get back to working on the game and making sure everyone who supported the Kickstarter gets all of the rewards that they deserve. And of course, thank you guys for watching. I wouldn't be here without you.